everybody, and welcome back to the Salty Commander podcast. I am the saddest EDH player, Balam Nájera.
I am Victor Adame, your resident Scryfall diver.
Hi, I am Raul, your local brewer. Now I make beer. Yes.
Local IPAs, brah. Only. Local source IPAs, brah.
Today we have a. Take it away, Victor. I don't have.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have the. There's too much pain in my heart right now for this.
For anyone that doesn't know, like, let's start off with that. It's not funny. Balam just had his house broken into and people stole a bunch of stuff. A lot of stuff, including. Yeah.
Okay, so.
It was meaningful. Like, it was a meaningful burglar.
Yeah, someone literally broke into my house, broke the door, and stole a lot of stuff, including 12 of my 20 EDH decks.
12, yeah. So
That
yeah,
sucks.
that sucks. And now we're gonna grief about it with a very griefy.
Yeah, it's
episode.
morning time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morning.
So going
In the morning.
to the topic at hand, we asked a bunch of people on the social medias, on Twitter, what they wanted us to talk about, and it seems like this is something that I always ask people at Magic Fest events and such. Is what is their deck building and EDH commander philosophy while playing? Because it seems that a lot of us are in agreement of some non-written agreements and stuff that we just don't do. Like, it's not written anywhere, but it's something that we all agree upon.
Sure.
And we're going to discuss a little bit about that. Our philosophy, our philosophy when it comes to building decks and when it comes to playing Magic, specifically Commander EDH.
Yeah, and every play group is different, right? Like, there's no way that all EDH players play the same. And that's something that's very good, but very chaotic about the format, right? Like, you have to. There's been a lot of friction with players because sometimes people misunderstand the point of the game. Well, not the game in itself, like of the play group.
The format.
The play group. Like, if some people are playing more casually and someone arrives and plays a combo deck, and he's like, I don't see no problem with it. You have your cards, I have mine, right? And maybe it's the other way around. There's a very competitive play group, and this guy gets bothered because he has a very casual play style or deck. So every play group is different.
Yeah, or
At the end of the day, what is important is to have fun. And yeah, like as which new player was not having as much fun as a competitive Daredi and a competitive Yuriko. Imagine that against a zombie tribal.
Which
early
one
stage.
is Yuriko?
So it was not that fun.
the ninja.
Right.
But this deck has all the extra turns, all the new ninjas, all the counters, and this guy was playing straight. It was the reanimator one, playing zombies with straight pure zombies, and not. I mean, it was a fun zombie deck, but it was not competitive at all. So yeah, I think that takes in the category of being the different styles of the players, right?
Yeah, and there's this thing that that it often gets thrown around that not everyone has the same definition of fun. Fun is not going to mean the same for everyone, but I think we all can agree on something like beforehand, like stating the power level of our decks. I don't know. It's easier when it comes to when it's on a play group.
That's already that ship already sailed, but yeah, topic for another.
And
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think particularly in our group, the Salty Commander play group, we more or less agree with the same way to build decks. Like we have very different ways to build them, and very different definitions of what cards we should put in, right? But we all agree,
Yeah.
kind of like it's not like we agree. We
Peer pressure.
each of us personally don't not really peer pressure. Each each of us personally don't really like the hyper competitive play
No.
style of deck building, but when we play, we absolutely play to win. There's not a thing we forgive when we play. Like everything that we do while playing, it's very
Yeah,
cutthroaty.
like our decks can be janky as hell, but like within those
Yes.
parameters, we still want to win, and we still like do try our best with our janky deck.
And we're a very politicky group. Like we cut deals, we go back on those deals, we make minutes, like minute long discussions about what's the correct play while shouting but having a good time, right?
Sometimes.
We do get
Yeah,
salty,
most of the time,
yeah.
but,
Most of the time,
we enjoy that, and we understand.
Yeah, we throw the arms a lot.
But we
But,
understand that
yeah,
that's the way
we
our
have
play
fun.
group likes to play. Maybe other play groups are way more competitive in the deck
Yeah.
building, but very conservative in the moment to play. Like not talk about anything or not point out the another player's mistakes. Just like keep it to yourself. We're not
No,
like
we're gonna point like every mistake you make, and we're gonna try to make deals that benefit us, 100% of the time.
yeah. We're gonna try to tilt you.
Yeah, we like to threat a lot. Not like real life threat, but like in-game threats. And
if you don't cast this spell, I'm not gonna be your friend anymore.
no, just like if you don't do this thing, I'm gonna hit you or stuff, or I'm gonna destroy a permanent of you.
Yeah, I think like you were saying, it's a very political group, and yeah, I mean you need to be at the edge of your seat if you're playing on our playgroup.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people when we go and play at our LGS. Some people don't really jive with us. Like we start going at each other, and they're like, "Oh, just let him play, leave him alone," and we're like, "What? What? No,
Why?
no, he made a mistake. He has to suffer from it. He has to do what I say."
And you guys need to know that we most of the time we're starting to play on a three-way, and that turns the game on a totally different direction. It's so hard.
We don't play on
Oh,
a
yeah,
three-way. We
because-
play on a Mexican standoff.
Yeah, a lot of the times it's just us three.
Yeah.
Not because nobody wants to play with us. Just it's because like when the LGS closes, we'll just go like to somebody's house, right? To mostly mine, and it's just the three of us.
Yeah.
And yeah, playing Mexican standoff really takes you to the edge.
You
Like
you can't
you don't
can't
know.
just like hide or do stuff without people perceiving it. Like you can't just do anything. Like you're always under the glass, under the magnifying glass. It feels, and yeah, you're not allowed to make mistakes or anything. Yeah, like everything has a consequence when you're playing Mexican stand-up. And I think it has even affected. Sorry, I think it's even affected the way we build our decks sometimes, because I run a lot of targeted removal, like because of that.
Yeah, to a certain point maybe, but I think it was, for example, my decks work fine in Mexican standoff for the regular commander. 4 player. Um, but yeah, I mean it's so different to play against two people running the race. um, and yeah, I mean for me it's a totally different game, if you will. The Mexican stand-up against the regular four-way commander.
I think the most like I'm mostly a very slow value player, as I mean like my decks are built a very specific way, and most of my decks play out like I have to build like turn by turn a little bit of value, and then I suddenly outvalue everyone else at the table. That's why I'm a very politicky player. Like every time I have to make deals, I have to point out things people are doing. I have to change the focus on everyone but me.
Yeah.
And that's very easy to do in 4 players, because there's probably somebody that already ramped into a very ridiculous board state, and that's good for me. Like when someone has a very powerful turn 4, that's absolutely good for me, because I know I'm gonna be able to beat it, but I just need a little bit more time. And all the other 3 players, I mean the other 2 players are gonna
Yeah.
focus on him. But in the Mexican standoff, oh man, it's just everyone's looking at you. Everyone like, and if someone has a really good first turn, it's very difficult to stop
Yeah.
in the
Yeah, I
Mexican
think one
standoff.
one deck playing 3 people, one deck can outrun the other two. It'll just like control the whole board if that player gets super ahead. Okay, let me start with a main topic. The things that I don't like about building my decks. And let me just like, it's a disclaimer. The way that I build my decks is not the way that I want other people to build their decks. You can play whatever you want. I don't care. But this is just me. This is my personal philosophy. But
That's where I disagree. Like mostly, the way I build my decks
At the
is the
start
way
of the topic.
I want other people to build their deck.
I mean, I wish people put more thought into their decks, right? Like I wish people would go beyond the store bought commanders and just like pimp them like as good as they can
like
get.
EDH rec is an excellent tool, but it's that
Yeah.
a tool, not the whole deck
Yeah, don't
list.
don't take it as a bible. Like, yeah, don't copy it. Don't ask for deck list. Don't net deck. I mean, you can do that, but I expect a little bit more creativity.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I really don't care about net decking or that. I just if I personally like I'm not gonna go and say, oh, net decking
Yeah.
sucks or something like that. But if I see like your deck is very samey like the others, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna respect you
Yeah,
less.
exactly. That's what we didn't touch on Urza
But
last week, right? Because
yeah, but you should do what you feel
yeah,
comfortable
I'm
with.
just gonna judge you.
I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, if you like to net deck, go ahead. For me, there's nothing wrong with that.
So okay, I don't build combo decks. I don't like how combo decks works because it's usually running towards one goal, and the deck's linear, and you always end up with the same results. And it reduces your ways of playing. Like you're always playing the same things. You're always finishing the game the same way unless you die first. So I never like build specifically combo decks. I do include a few infinite or like super tuned like combos, like not like non-infinite combos, but like strong synergies, like game ending stuff. In case, just in case the game has gone long enough.
Yeah, because there's a lot of times where the game just drags on a lot, and
Yeah.
you just
You
want
just
to
gotta
finish
finish.
it.
Yeah, you just gotta finish it. So I don't include combos. Like I don't like infinite combos, and for me it's like super like it's such a letdown. When you're grinding the game, when you're having fun, when you're like swinging your creatures and like swinging spells, and then someone goes like, "Whoops, combo," and then I win. So For me, it's very anticlimactic, sort of like Game of Thrones season 8. That stuff happens like all of a sudden. Stuff just happens without any script, without any build up. Just happens and then ends the game. And for me, it's just like, oh. Um, so I don't do that in any of my decks. But that's my philosophy.
I think I mostly agree with you, but for my decks, as I would add on. I don't know if you do, but I would add on that. Yeah, I don't run combos. In blue decks, I almost never run counterspells, but not because I don't think they're good or nothing. I think counterspells are great for the format. I want to play more things. I'm a
Yeah.
very teamy player. Like I do want to play my stuff. I do want to play big things or ridiculous things or flavorful things, and counterspell is just like a slot away from that. So I will run counterspells if I don't have any way to remove or interact annoying things. Like if I have a Demir deck, I will probably run like 4 5 counterspells to protect me from stuff I can't really deal with in those colors.
Yeah. So
And, oh, sorry.
counterspells used defensively, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I do too.
yeah. Like mostly defensively for like I don't know, big enchantment things or big
Yeah.
sorcery ending things
I
that
was
I just let me buy one more turn.
I was at the
And
LGS last weekend, and a guy borrowed my Warriors deck. So it's a green blue. It's a Simic Azuri Claw Progress, but it's all around Warriors. So I just I had a Warriors deck, but it had more colors. It had black and red, but I took it apart and I built this one. So I run 4 counterspells in that deck, and he realized like I played an enchantment. I don't know what I did, but it was gonna draw me 3 cards, and it was not really like he had a board full of creatures, and he used his only Swan Song
oof.
on my enchantment, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then the turn comes around for the other player, and that player casts Damnation, and so the Zuri guy that borrowed my deck was like, oh, and I was like, yeah, like that's how I run counterspells. Like you just they're so few and far in between. Like you need them for to protect your stuff. Like you have to use them defensively, not offensively.
Yeah, that's how I use them.
Yeah.
Also, I don't run tutors.
Hmm.
Like I don't know. I think I find myself always tutoring the same thing.
Yeah.
If I have a tutor in my deck, I'm gonna tutor the same card. So to me that's boring because I already know what's gonna happen. So instead of that, instead of tutors, I'll play card draw.
Card draw.
So maybe I'll power through my deck and find the thing. But if not, maybe I'll find some other way, a lateral thinking way to deal with the problem. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have several different strategies to
Yeah.
deal with stuff,
Yeah.
right? Not just one. Yeah, well, for me, I built my decks. You guys pointed that out. I mean, I was aware of that, but now that I'm aware, I do that more often. I tend to build decks around one card,
You
not
don't
specifically one,
say.
but one. So, um, for example, I mean, and this is a very popular deck, and it's not that I'm a super innovator or whatever, but I really like Villain as well. And I built a deck around it just because I wanted to play that. I want to build a deck around Isao, but he's so bad. But I mean, yeah, I just like play big spells. Um,
Yeah.
in have I don't like the modern staple type of cards. I like the big flashy stuff. And yeah, I mean, I tend to go around playing cards that I like. I'm not sure if they synergize that well together, but I don't know. I like playing those cards and I like having fun most of the
Yeah.
time.
So let's say you built your Villainous Wealth deck, right? It's a Tassigur one.
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
you
it's
run
Tassiger.
tutors to get that Villainous Wealth?
I do. I have one.
Just
Just
one.
one.
Just one. Wow.
Yeah.
Why one? Like, why not? Like, it's if you want to play a deck about that, why not five? Why just one?
Well, in this case, because I play a lot of draw, and for me, I mean, I think Tassiger can give you the cards that you want, and I like that he's super politicky, um, and I like the interaction that you can have with the table. For example, if another player has a big board and you want to play a mass removal spell, you can do Tassiger and ask another player if they can give you the nation or whatever. And I like that aspect of him. Is
Yeah. It can buy you time to do that stuff, right?
Yeah, and I like when I mill with Tassiger Doran as well. I find ways for any other player to give Doran as well to my hand, offering some protection or whatever. I like that deck because it's like that. You offer stuff and they give you stuff back. So it's fun to have that type of interaction.
And it can be politicky. Like, you can say, "Hey, give me this one card, and I'll help you," and something like that, right?
Yeah. I had this game when a player was playing Marin with Hulk combo, Pretend Hulk, and he was about to do the combo on turn 3. So I played a Swan Song on
Tequila?
Buried Alive, and then I did Tassiger again and asked the other player, "Hey, can you give me this Swan Song again so I can counter that combo again?" And he was like, "Yeah, for sure." So I did Tassiger and I stopped the combo of Pretend Hulk.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can be super politic using Tassiger.
Victor, tell us, how do you choose a deck? How do you start? Like, how do you decide which deck to build?
Roll around on the floor. I cry for a couple of weeks, and then just like something just clicks. I don't know. Like
I've noticed you're very angsty when it comes to building decks.
yeah.
Like,
I don't just build any deck. Like it has to mean something. It has to
But-
do something original.
I don't know how your choosing process is, but the way we receive it, like, you talk like weeks and weeks about, like, I want to build something new. I want to
Yeah.
build this. I want to build that. I want to build this. And then you always come back like, nah, I'll just build a Rakdos deck.
Rakdos deck.
Nah, I'll just do Warriors once again.
Yeah.
Like, you research all the possibilities for one deck, and then
Yeah.
you just come back to the same thing. And then out of nowhere, you build something completely new that you never even talked about.
Yeah.
And that's normally the deck that stays.
Yeah, those are the decks that stay. Warriors was an exception because I wanted to do like a +1/+1 counter deck. So I was looking at tribes, and I was looking at underused tribes because I didn't want to build the normal ones, Alps and stuff. And I said, oh, Warriors, what do they do? Like, what's their thing? And came across like +1/+1 counters, and red Warriors are really good at that. Also, there's a black ones too, like Fresh. And there's a warrior that you sacrifice on another warrior, and target player loses X life, where X is the power of the creature you sacrifice, and you gain X life. And I was like, oh, this is something. And then I was like, oh, then Rayhan, Last of the Absent, like that can combo off. Like you can sacrifice a warrior, give the other one the counters, and so on and so forth. That deck didn't pan out because none of the commanders that I was running gave other creatures plus the +1/+1 counters. I needed more stuff. So that deck needed a lot of moving parts, and that's the problem when you build a deck like that, is that they disrupt anything and you're done.
That's how I build decks.
Yeah.
But
so-
I've gotten good to getting to protect my stuff outside of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, in the game, but outside of the actual cards being played.
Yeah, like politicking. The thing
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that the
yeah,
thing
yeah.
about the Warriors is that they were not very good. They were not very effective. They had some good ones, but overall they were not super good. So I ended up taking that apart, and now it's the Simic. But it has happened a couple of times with like the Knights. It started with me wanting to play Hakan, and I was like, okay, so Knights, how am I gonna get? And like the normal thought process is, oh, you play Command Beacon and get him into your hand, and then you discard it. And I was like, no, what if I don't play him as my commander? What if I play as one of the 99, and then just entomb? And I was like, oh, okay, so which one is going to be my commander? So I didn't know the options, and I was like, oh, how about Edgar? And it turns out a lot of the knights are also vampires. So whenever you cast a vampire knight, you get a token, so that's value. And I was like, oh, and that's how the deck came about. Also, the one with a +1/+1 counters all legendary. A lot of legendary creatures care about +1/+1 counters, and the deck just works because they all support each other, and that's what I'm looking for. Like, I'm looking for all the cards to do the same, stay on the same theme, like stay on the same mechanics, per se.
So to you is like you want it to be like a very living like a yeah, like a living thing, the way you build decks.
Yeah.
Like a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree about that.
For sure. So yeah, that's one of my philosophies when it comes to building decks. It has to mean something, and it has to have a theme. It has to have multiple themes, even like tribal something.
Yeah.
I don't just want to build like a tribal of some like some tribe, and that, like, just that. I need the tribe to do something else. I need to have more mechanics than just the one.
I do like tribal decks.
Yeah.
I mean, I had before the Great Depression. I had Sultai elves and Jund goblins and Dimir fairies. So it's kind of taking these very popular tribes, except for fairies, but doing it in colors that maybe it's not so typical to do a tribal about it.
Yeah.
I mean, elves is normally just mono green or simic, and adding black to me was kind of important. And the same with goblins. Goblins is pretty much always mono red.
Yeah, it's
And
always
I
been
just
Krenko or something.
Or
yeah, and I played Shattergang Bros Jund, which like doesn't really play a lot with the Shattergang Bros, but it kind of did a little different. I'm not saying I'm super unique just by adding a different color or anything. I'm just saying like the way I build decks is I choose like a theme, and I try to find the best commander for that theme. And like you, I want it now. Like before, I would just like go like tribal. Now I'm trying to do like, okay, let's do tribal but something else. Let's say legendary creatures and something else, right? Like I want it to be a very special deck, and find cards that are super weird but super specific to it.
Yeah.
Like cards you wouldn't put any other deck else, because it doesn't fulfill two parts. Like like your zombie mill deck, right?
Yeah.
Or like the specters deck that I have. Like, I don't know, very weird combinations.
Do you still have that one?
But
The Spectres?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
yeah, it survived.
All right, that's good.
nice.
I really like that deck. It's very weird because it's a discard deck, and everybody hates discard decks, but it doesn't really get a lot of hate.
No, because you think Spectres, oh, whatever. They're not going to do much, but they do.
Yeah. Um, I have a question for you both. How much how important is to build around your commander for you? Like, is it a key piece? Should all the game your commander be on the board? Is it just one of the 99 but in the helm? Is it just for the colors? How important is for you your commanders?
Why don't you start, Bago?
Well, for me, it depends. I mean, most of the times I don't start with the commander. Most of the times, I start with a random card that I like, and I start finding ways to build a deck around it. Um, so for me, I think it depends on what card I will like to do, but most of the time I like to play with my commander. I don't like commanders. I don't like decks that doesn't rely that much on the commander, because at the end of the day, the face of the deck. So I like to play with it, and I mean, and I like Voltron in general. I have several Voltron decks. So yeah, I mean, the answer is yes. I like to play with my commander
The answer.
most of the time.
Yeah, for me, it depends because I start like you a little bit. Like I just think about the cards that I want to play, regardless of the commander. Um, and then just like for me, the commander has to at least do something. I don't just choose it for the colors. It has to provide something because if it just sits there and does nothing, then I don't know. I get frustrated. It has to do something. Like it's it's your eighth card in your hand, in your starting hand, or ever. So it has to do
Right.
something. Like it has to provide something. Um, and like you mentioned, Voltron, I have a Multani deck, and the whole deck revolves around Multani. Don't get me wrong. Like it's a Voltron deck. You ramp and you hit, and that's one of the more simple ones. But I also have cards that can do without Multani. It's like a land strategy also, and it has other big threats. So it is important, but it can do without the commander. So I'd
I think of the three of us, I think I am the one that's more loose with the commander. I really use the commander to enable me to build a deck. And if I can use it, it's good. If I can't, then there's no sweat. I've been starting to change that a little bit because yes, as you said, it's your eight card, and it really feels annoying when your eight card in hand. Like it really feels annoying when you have a card in hand and you just can't play it because it doesn't contribute to anything.
yeah.
So I've been moving into the direction of the making the commander a bit more important, but I don't want to rely on my commander too much. I don't want to need it.
Yeah.
Like if somebody kills my commander, then my whole game is
Then you're
over.
toast.
I don't want that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
one clear example was my Atraxa Angels that I just did. That it was Atraxa just because of the colors. But then I started like including some cards that really worked well with Atraxa. Like there's this enchantment that it says that at the end of your turn, if you gain 4 or more life, you create a 4/4 angel. So Atraxa has lifelink and it has 4 power, so it can gain you 4 life. Best case scenario. So I included that card. Like it works with Atraxa, but it lets Atraxa do something more than just sitting there and be 4 colors. So I think that's a
I'm
clear example of what we're.
I'm a real sucker for colors because I really disliked when you took two colors from that deck. Like I really liked the 4 color angel. I was really excited about that idea, and then you said, "No, it's just gonna be Celestia."
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's boring.
No, because blue had
Better.
nothing. Like, sorry, go.
No, it's better now that it's your.
It is better. Like it plays better and it's more powerful. But
It's just because you hate Cyclonic Rave doesn't make it better, Vago.
It's more angel-y, and I don't know. I prefer to get hit by angels that to be controlled by blue and have an attract a hidden mage just because.
And I'm not even saying about the blue controlly. Like, I don't know. I don't know. The blue. There are a few blue angels that kind of are red. And I mean, Atraxa is like big and namey, and everyone is gonna think you're gonna either play Planeswalkers or Infect.
Yeah.
And no, it's an Angels.
Angel Tribal. The thing about that deck is that it was not. It didn't have a theme outside the angels. It was just angels. And then when I started,
But now that you made it Selesnya, it's Angels and
yes,
tokens, like Angel
it's
tokens
angel
and stuff
token.
like that.
So it's my token deck, but it's also Angel Tribal, and it's better because as Atraxa like black had nothing to like contribute to the build, and so neither did blue. Like blue had nothing to do with tokens except for like right of replication, that sort of thing. So for a time, I was starting to think about doing BAMT, but I finally settled for just Celestia. So yeah, I took the other two colors because I didn't think they brought anything exciting to the table as far as tokens go.
And what about, okay, so I'm gonna start with this because I have a very set way to build the deck, to actually build the deck. So let's say I have a strategy. I have my theme on and everything. I have the list of cards I want to put in. So I actually stole this from the guys at the command zone, and they say it's a bit more like guidelines, but I took it as religion, right? The way I build the decks, I take the cards I want to play, and I go absolutely 10 ramp cards, 10 draw cards, and this is a little bit of adding of mine, and at least 4 different kind of ways, or four cards. No, okay.
4 types.
For each type of permanent, there should be 4 ways I can remove it.
Yeah.
Is it spot removal? Is it mass removal? Is it a counterspell? I don't care. I want to deal with like at least have 4 different answers for one artifact.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So that's the way I follow this list religiously, and sometimes it combines with like, hey, I have a creature, let's say a vampire tribal, and this specific vampire destroys a creature.
Yeah.
Well, I chop it off as a creature removal. Well, maybe this vampire destroys an enchantment. I count it as a creature and as a enchantment removal. So I try to synergize and to fill more spots that way.
Yeah.
But absolutely, I don't budge. I go 10 card draw, 10 ramp, 4 removals for each card.
At least, right?
Oh, yeah, at least.
Yeah, because there are more
and,
greedy decks.
Also, I go 37 lands. No more, no less. 37 lands. But that's just me. Like, I just find 37 it's very good, it's solid. How do you guys go at it?
For me, I usually do 12
Lands.
12 ramp, 12 card draw. Sometimes the decks are greedier, and I like go up to 14 ramp. I even go to like 16. I think my Multani deck has close to 20 ramps, but because it's a land deck. And yeah, I do the same thing with removal, and that's why we thought that the Shaman tribal deck was so interesting, because even the ramp creatures are shamans. Like you have the one that you look at the top. What's it called? The elf one that happens to be a shaman.
Oracle
Moldiah. Yeah, you have that one. You have Steve. Steve is a shaman. The one.
Good old Steve.
Yeah, good old Steve. The one that sees played in Modern. The snake that you tap and put a land from your hand into play. Deathrite Shaman.
Good old snake guy.
The snake guy. Deathrite Shaman. That's a shaman too. So yeah, like that's why I like that deck so much, because even the ramp and the removal was creature based and shaman. So like it all came full circle. Like it all it's all on the same theme, and I think that's pretty. And I like
And how many card draw do you use?
12 at least.
12 card draw, 12 ramp?
Yeah, usually. I
Man, that doesn't leave a lot of room
it
for your
does
deck.
not. I think my decks are a little bit more greedy, and sometimes if my commander is value, it provides some value. I don't put as much card draw because my commander is going to do that for me. So yeah, if my commander is value, I usually include 10. But yeah, usually around 12.
What about you, Raul?
Raul.
Play one draw, one ramp spell. You don't need more. 10 lands. No. No, I usually play 10 draw. I've been playing 8 on the last few decks. 8, 10. And for ramp, I play 10 to 12. I've been focusing more on the ramp than the draw. The reason being that I found that some ramp can give me draws, and yeah, but 8 is the least draw that I play, and I usually go for 35 lands in all of my decks. 35, because it's hard to have. I prefer to play more spells, I guess. But yeah, the least draw I do is 8, and the least ramp 10. Yeah, and 35 lands.
Okay.
Yep.
So I thought I was the more specific, the more strict about it, but it turns out you guys also like you even play more ramp than I do.
Yeah, it really does depend on the deck and the curve.
I stick to these rules because I want my decks to be functional, but I really want to play my things, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm really disheartened when I can't play something because of ramp. So I just stuck to this type of number, and that's it.
Yeah. But it's like, yeah, for me it's a rule like at least 10. If I can go a little bit above.
And what about removal or board wipes? Do you have a set specific number for that type of cards?
Not really. I do not, but I usually try to do like at least 4 creature board wipes, at least 8 things that, because like for me, I think 8 is a good number, because if you have 8 of something, you're at least guaranteed to draw one of those cards. Like in your opening hand, like
Weird
counterspell.
math,
Counterspells for me, 8 is the good number. I mean, in a counter
8
counter
counterspells.
heavy deck.
Yeah.
But I usually run 4.
35.
35 counterspell. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you, Lago?
Talrand. I play it depends for me. For example, in Passenger I don't run that many mass removal. I just play the basic. The Cree of Pain, Cyclonic Rift, or whatever. Well, not Cyclonic Rift, the new one. The worst Cyclonic Rift.
River Rebuke.
In Surgo, I'm playing like 12 mass removals. Obviously, because
Yeah.
he's
Because it's
indestructible.
more of the theme of the deck.
Yeah. But in general,
Yeah,
I
a
don't
lot of
have
it-
a rule for that. Yeah,
A lot of it has to do with the way your decks are
or built. Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of this comes down to the way your play group plays,
Yeah.
right? And it's very important not only that you take notice how they build their decks, how they play their decks. Maybe someone counters everything they see first. Maybe someone's very reserved with their counters. So the way you build your decks has to be a little bit molded to the way your play group builds and plays, and that's super important. That you have to adapt to the environment you're
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, it's a good rule to have like the 10 and 10, but yeah, it depends on your meta.
Do you have any last advice for deck builders out there that are a little bit lost?
Well, for me, I can advise the new guys that that you should play the cards that you like. It doesn't matter that much at the beginning if they don't synergize that well
Yeah,
together.
absolutely.
Um, you will always have any at least in two other players to help you out against the bad guy.
Mm.
And so yeah, you should play the cards that you like, and eventually you will learn that you need to um, tune your deck together to work in certain ways. But at the beginning, if you want just focus on the art or on the colors or whatever, and you will have the most fun that way. For me, I think that way.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that one, especially like you don't. If there's a card you really love, but there's this other very famous optimal EDH card, you don't always have to run the optimal card. You can just run the card you like. As he
Yeah.
said, like it's a multiplayer format. There's a lot of other players.
I just want to say, sorry, go.
So yeah, I was saying that you will always uh, have help um, or help winning against the bad guy player, the super competitive player. And I mean, if you lose against some combo or anything, well, you can always play a second game.
Yeah. My advice would be responsible about the cards that you play. Like you can play whatever you want, but if you play humility, I'm gonna punish you for that. Uh, so you can play the cards that you like, but just be mindful that if you don't let other people play the game, they're gonna be mad at you. They're gonna target you, and the next game you play, then you're gonna be the target right off the bat. So be responsible. Uh,
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is one of the most important pieces of advice you can say to a Magic player in EDH, especially. You have to be really self-aware. Like, you have to know yourself. You have to know if you're a good player. You have to know if you're a bad player. You have to know the cards you're running and how it makes people feel.
yeah,
Like, you have to be really self-aware.
yeah, because you're gonna be punished. Most likely, if you're playing against me, you're gonna be punished. I'm gonna bust out the good deck,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be mean. If you want to be mean,
I don't I don't really think I have any more advice like that. That's really as good as yours.
thank
Like,
you.
um, I don't know. Find a play group you really gel with, or just pay attention on at how people play. You know, kind of like
Yeah.
poker. Pay attention to the little tells, and well, not maybe exactly the tells, but how people play, how people move around in their decks, or in the deck building, and test out if it fits for you or not. Because maybe sometime as a new player you want to know what to play, and a lot of people say you should play this way or you should play that way. Feel out how they play, and see if their advice should be followed as a rule, or more of a grain of salt. Like that would be like myself. Just test out the environment and feel if it's for you. Feel if it's the right way to build a
Yeah.
deck. And that's it.
And with that, I think.
Do it, but have fun.
Sorry?
Oh
Sorry?
yeah, I was about to say that if you want to play combo, do it, but have fun and let the other players have fun. If you want to play Ultron,
Yeah, like if you want to play combo, do it. Just, be ready for what comes next.
And
that's the end point. Yes.
yeah, yeah. I think we can sum it up with that one time that you played the demon that makes everyone discard their hands, and in response to the trigger, I played Cyclonic. And that's that's the
Man.
moral of the story for this.
That's horrible. That
He
was,
was, yeah, it
that
was
was
awful. Yeah.
But you brought it on yourself. All right. So with that, I think we're gonna wrap it up for today.
So that was our deck building philosophies, if you can say that. Just a little bit of of the inside of our minds of how we come around to
Yeah.
building decks.
Tell us in the comments how you like to play your decks, how you like to build your commander decks, how you like your playgroup to behave, quote unquote. Let us know. We're actively looking for suggestions to hear other people's perspectives.
Let us know what you think about the philosophies of the building and the playgroup. Yeah, see your thing.
Like, comment, subscribe, share, retweet, everything you can do. You can find us on YouTube as Salty Commander, and you can find us at Twitter as Salty Commander
Because
1.
we're number one.
Yeah. Please keep in contact with us. We really love to hear about you, and most of all, stay salty.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. See you later, guys.